Hello everyone and welcome to a new series I am calling Steampunk Enterprise. In this series I plan on building an entire city that is steampunk themed. If you don't know what steampunk is, it's the past but in the future. Steampunk usually has lots of gears, flying machines, and clocks and other mechanical doodads. Some colors that are common with steampunk are bronze, gray, and black, which you can see me using. Okay, well, maybe a bit later in the video you'll see me use it. You want steampunk to look very old and rustic. I found this amazing plot of land which has this little inner lake area that connects to a waterfront. And I plan on building restaurants, ports, beaches, and all kinds of stuff within this area. I'll also be building the rest of a city, and I plan on having a Gothic-styled church and some other stuff that I haven't exactly decided yet. What I am doing now is I am building a river that connects out of the lake, and I'm going to put a water wheel on it that powers a clock tower. This clock tower will be one of the centerpieces of the build and was one of the first inspirations for starting this series. How the whole idea originated was from a series I started called Hardcore Minecraft, in which I was looking for ideas for a series, and I've always liked steampunk, so I figured I'd build a steampunk house. Then I decided I would move it to a creative world so that I could make it a lot bigger, and I didn't want to lose it if I died. Then I scrapped Hardcore Minecraft altogether because I felt it was boring to watch. Oh, by the way, if you see random things ever pop up in the video that you didn't see me build, it's because I'm still getting used to having to record everything, so I forgot to record some parts, and yeah, sorry about that. I know I cut out some of the most exciting bits. I looked up Steampunk Minecraft, and I didn't find a whole lot of things. And the things that I did find, I felt weren't very steampunky, at least in the way I see steampunk. And so I'm really excited to be building something that hasn't really been done before in Minecraft. I hope you guys like this format for the video with the time-lapse at the beginning and then an explanation of the build at the end. I know you guys haven't seen the whole video yet, but that's how it's gonna go. I hope you guys like it. It might change. I'm not entirely sure. I could just put background music over this part instead of having me talk. I don't know. I'll see if I like it. But I also don't have some other things like an intro and outro yet. I might never have an intro. I think they're kind of useless, but I might do an outro because I think those are kind of cool. I just need to create one first. I also don't have a lot of other things for a YouTube channel like a banner or a logo, but I mean, who cares about that stuff? I'll create it when I create it. Alright, apparently 4 minutes is hard to fill, so let's move on to some other thing to talk about. For the longest time, I didn't have a skin in Minecraft. I had friends who played Minecraft and they tried showing me how to change my skin, but I forgot my password to Mojang, or I forgot my password to something. I forget exactly what it was, but I think it was Mojang. And I also forgot all the backup questions it asked, so I was really out of luck. And so, yeah, I never could change. I was always that, I forget what it's called, but it's the female version of Steve. I feel like it starts with an A. I forget. Anyways, one day another friend tried, and they actually figured out how to change it. I forget what they did, but yeah, good for them. And so I changed it to a character from an old PS2 game called Ape Escape. A lot of you guys probably haven't heard of that, but it has these monkeys in it with these hats with lights on top. Wow, okay, that does not describe the game at all. I'll pull up a picture for you. But yeah, I changed it to one of those, and I had that for a long time. I didn't really care about my skin too much. And then when I decided to create a YouTube channel, I figured that I might just create my own skin, you know, something that could be iconic. And so I took a couple hours and I spent a lot of time creating it, and I'm very happy with the way it came out. I feel like it really represents me. And I think it's very cool how you can do whatever you want in this game, including creating a character any way that you want it to look. Like if you want it a character that's just one bright shade of blue, then you can do that. Or If you want one that looks like a pig, then you can do that too. Like, you're not very limited, except for like the number of pixels that the character has. Alright, well surely that is long enough for the time lapse, so enjoy. Hello everyone, again. I hope you enjoyed that time lapse. You can probably tell that my voice was scripted in it. I'm not entirely sure if I'm going to keep that in the future. I wasn't a huge fan of it. I might just put background music on there instead, but we'll see. So, this is the clock tower, and I actually like looking from far away. Just kind of shows it in perspective with everything else. So, this was originally going to be the front side of the clock tower, but I think it ends up, I think it looks like the back by this point. This side, with all the gears and everything, looks much cooler in my opinion. Yeah, it looks awesome. Alright, so this is mostly finished. I might add a little section on top, we'll see, but other than that, yeah, this is pretty much done. I just want to talk about this area real quick. So this is going to be I'm going to make this like a waterfront with like, boardwalk out here probably. Might have a couple restaurants, and might put a coaster or a Ferris wheel over there. I'll probably put a beach right here and a port there. I was going to put the lighthouse here, but I think since like this whole mountain is here, or whatever it is, but I think that would be obstructing, you know, boats and stuff from coming in. So instead I think I'm just going to get rid of this, which that would be fun to do. But we'll put like a lighthouse there maybe, so. But yeah, I think, oh, it looks so cool with everything around it. And I can't wait till everything around it is also steampunk. That is going to look amazing. Alright, so I built this river by hand, which was a lot of fun. And that powers this water wheel, which powers the whole thing. And so I'm going to go through how it all connects together. So this water wheel powers this gear. And this is a bit of a special gear. It's known as a bevel gear. And that can rotate another bevel gear that is 90 degrees to it, so or perpendicular if you want to get fancy. But this bevel gear goes into a sprocket which spins this chain. I guess it could also be a belt. I'm not entirely sure. I mean, it's just Minecraft. And I even have a tensioner for this belt. This gear, sprocket, whatever you want to call it, runs along this rail, and so this is a spring, totally not a cobweb, and that keeps it tensioned. So that comes up, and it runs into this gear, which then spins this gear, which then spins this gear. There's a lot of gears. Yeah, so it spins another bevel gear, and that spins this bevel gear, which goes into this box, and so this box is very cool. It took me a while to think up how this was going to work, but how it does work is we have lava flowing into a bottom chamber, water flowing into a top chamber, and that controls the temperature of the box. And if you know, metal expands in heat, and so this shaft can just barely fit inside of this box, and the hotter the shaft gets, the more it expands, and the more friction there is up against the box. And yeah, that slows down the shaft, which slows down the clock. So this box essentially just controls the speed of the clock. I hope that made sense. That goes into what's known as a universal joint. If you don't know what these are, I would highly recommend looking them up. But they are another way of getting some rotational energy into another rotation in another direction. Yeah, I don't know if that made sense. But look them up, they're very cool. And so that runs into another gear, and that gear runs into another gear. I bet you didn't see that coming. This is a cool gear though. This was inspired by like those Ferris wheels, where it's just a ring, and how it's being held up is we have a wheel here, and then there's one under the bridge. And so that holds the gear up. They don't spin it or anything, they just hold it up. I mean, well, the whole thing spins around them. So yeah, so this way you can walk through here because there's no spinning parts in the middle, they're just all on the outside. And so if we hop over to the other side, we have this gear on the inside of this gear, This is getting very confusing. Which spins this smaller gear. Is there another word for gear? Because I'm starting to get tired of saying gear. I don't know of any. Whatever. That spins this sprocket, which goes up into this sprocket. And this is pretty cool too. It has just this one little extended part. And so that way, every time it makes one rotation, it spins this gear. What would that probably be? It'd probably be like 45 degrees. Yeah, we'll say that. So it spins this gear 45 degrees. Yeah, the only problem with this is that I have the supports a bit too close, so when this spins, this would run into it. So I'm going to fix that off camera. So this gear turns once, well, it turns once every like 8 turns on this gear. Well, it's not a gear. Whatever. And so this, every time this spins, that represents 1 second. And so this gear feeds into this gear, which then spins this shaft. And so then, now this is a really confusing part. This gear spins this gear, which spins this gear, which spins this gear. Yeah, I had to work around these. So I have like 4 gears running up into this giant one. And this giant one just goes into the center of the clock. And I didn't bother filling in the inside of this, so we're just going to say that connects up to the clock, and that is what actually spins it. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed that. Can't wait for more stuff to be built around this. I love the way everything's come out so far. I think this water wheel looks amazing. I think the colors on this go well together, and I try to make each gear different, the way they look and what materials I used. Okay, well, I didn't make them too different on what materials I used, but they'll have their own individual things. Maybe not so much the bevel gears, but that's fine. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this, and I can't wait for the next episode, so see ya!